For humans, and they want to talk about the ASTRON Rex, and you shouldn't buy it. The end. Obviously, it's in crates, which means it's immediately not worth it. I mean, yes, there are going to be some people that are going to be like, yeah, but I won 5 tanks.
It doesn't matter!
Crates are gambling. You always lose. If you win, more people have to lose to make up for your win. And as you saw in the pricing of the Caliban at 140 euros, that's the real price of these vehicles now. Right? You're not going to get this tank for 6 euros. What this tank is a horribly penetrationed autoloader with 3 shells and 900 damage clip for tier 8 is pretty damn good, but 185mm standard penetration, that is absolutely unacceptable in 2022. So, the gun, you know, you have pretty bad DPM, and this thing has 3.5 seconds interclip, which is also absolutely horrible. Dispersion and the aim time are not good either. I mean, it's somewhat on par with a Bourrasque, slightly more accurate than a Bourrasque, and the movement dispersions are actually pretty good. 8 degrees of gun depression, which is less what you can expect from the better tier 8 medium tanks like a Chimera. Then the mobility of this vehicle is quite weak. It's somewhere below the Chimera, and the Chimera is already not a very quick medium tank. So, that's not really great, is it? Now, the hull is pretty much papered to any tier 8. Now, if you shoot at it from the bottom, you're going to get extra angle. However, if you shoot flat at it, then you're going to have 200mm. It's going to go straight through. With any reasonable tier 8 gun, even tier 7s with premium ammo are going to not have any trouble penning it. It's quite small, so hitting it is going to be a problem, but the turret is absolutely massive. Now, sides of the turret obviously are a weak spot, 8 degrees of gun depression, which will not allow you to hide your 160mm cupola, which means that will always be penetrated. However, that doesn't matter, because you can pen the turret on this vehicle anyway in certain select spots. Now, if it's hull down, it's going to be quite tricky. You're going to have to shoot this plate down here. That is going to be quite difficult to hit, because this one is over-angled, so you won't be able to hit it. However, on flat ground, you can pen the turret as well with certain premium rounds. And obviously, what I have to mention as well is I did not buy this vehicle. This is not my account. I personally would never, ever buy something like this. And to be honest, anyone that would recommend something like this would either have to be an extreme shell or be extremely incompetent. Now here we go with this extreme disappointment. Now, here's the thing, Wargaming. If you want me to review a tank based on its performance, you've got to price it accordingly to vehicles of the same performance, right? Because if this vehicle performs very similar to other tier 8 medium tanks, which it does, and it's disappointing, then I will review it based off its price point. And at that point, you have to be insane to even consider this vehicle to buy at this kind of price point. Because here's the thing. You have shit penetration. You have shit intercrypt. You have shit mobility for a medium tank. And you don't have good armor either. So what do you have? You do have an autoloader. Which means you have very low DPM. Right? Which means that, yes, you have low AP penetration. Which means every time you try to fight a heavy tank, you don't have 290 alpha damage anymore. Which is an advantage. The 290 alpha damage is a good thing to have on a vehicle like this. However, the Lorraine has 4 shells, and it can unload in the same time because it has 2 seconds to flip this, so it's 3.5. So basically, you have the same there, and the Lorraine is, yes, harder to play because it has no armor at all, and this thing has some decoy armor somewhere, and the Lorraine's fast though. The Lorraine can move. This thing, yeah, not really. This is more heavier mobility territory if you get below 18, 19 in terms of the speed there. Now, it's slower than a Chimera, which is already not very fast. And a Chimera's got 440 alpha damage, and you can shoot once. And you don't have to wait 3.5 seconds, because here's the thing. The less armor you have, the faster you want your interclip to be. Because if your interclip is this bad, 3.5, which is really bad, then anyone can aim in that time. A smasher can easily aim in that time. Right? So what you have to do is you have to treat it as not an autoloader, but a single shot. We have to peek for every shot. Because if you stay out for the 3.5 seconds and someone's aiming at you, you're gonna be shot. So ideally, you don't want to engage with anyone at all. Well, that's going to be difficult because, again, you don't have quite the insanely quick mobility to be able to engage wherever you want. And then, if you can't engage from wherever you want, you have the problem of, if this happens to be a heavy tank in front of you, you're not fast enough to outplay him, just about. Unless it's like a VK100, then you can easily flank it, like any tank. Or, you have to deal with 185 standard penetration. Or 194 if you are using the calibrate. So basically, what you have here is a vehicle that, at the same price as the Chimera, I would not recommend. I would still recommend the Chimera, because it's a more reliable platform, it's an easier platform as well. So what we have here is 140, 150 euros. That's what the Caliban costs as well, 140 euros. So assume this thing costs the same. Always look at the charm price, because that's what it really costs you. That's how much the charms are. That's how much the vehicle costs you. The crates, they're a tool to split it up into smaller sections, right? You buy one crate today, 6 euros. Ah, no tank. You buy another crate tomorrow, 6 euros. And then you spend 100 euros over 7 days, and you have no tank. So crates are deliberately made to mislead you and to make you spend more money than you should. So don't do that, ever, for any tank. And especially not for a tank like this. Now, here's the thing. If something comes out that's new, something being new doesn't make it more valuable. Something being better would make it more valuable. But it's not. And rightfully so, obviously, because the game should still be balanced. However, you then have to balance the game. You also have to balance the price. If the price is 3 times higher, but the performance is the same, then congratulations, you've been screwed. And that is never going to be worth it. Now, obviously, I will never be able to stop people from buying this, right? They're going to like, oh my god, new tank do I have to have. It's always going to happen. And some people are going to buy one crate. They're going to mysteriously get the vehicle, because obviously 1 in 25 people will, and no, you won't be one of them. And then they're going to be like, oh my god, I got a tank, it's amazing, ooh. And that's another thing. A new tank benefits off no one knowing how it works, right? This vehicle, no one currently knows, unless you look at the stats, how this vehicle plays. Which means for about a week or two, you do have a distinct advantage here. As in, you play a tank that no one knows how it plays. Which means you have an advantage for about a week. But then after that, you go back to regular performance. And would you really want to pay 100 euros extra to have 10% more perceived performance for a week? I think not. So what you have here is a vehicle that I wouldn't recommend for 7k, sold for 30k. And with that said, thank you very much for watching. See you in the next one. Goodbye.